Homeless girl asked to play for food. They laughed, not realizing she was a piano prodigy. A homeless girl, ragged and starving, walks into an upscale restaurant. The rich patrons laugh at her, her dirty clothes and tangled hair a stark contrast to the polished suits and evening gowns around her. She asks, in a timid voice, if she could play the piano in exchange for a warm meal. The laughter continues, mocking her, assuming she's just another street performer looking for a handout. But what they don't know is that the girl's hands, though weathered by the streets, hold the skill of a true prodigy, one that will soon leave them speechless. What happens next is a lesson in humility, privilege, and the danger of judging a book by its cover. The story begins on a cold winter evening in a bustling city, where the hustle and bustle of high society contrasts with the quiet desperation of those living on the streets. The homeless girl, Maria, is introduced. Her face shows the wear of hardship, yet there's a softness in her eyes, a hunger not just for food, but for something more. She has been living on the streets for over a year after escaping an abusive home. Her only comfort is the piano she plays in her small, run-down shelter at night. Maria has never been to a restaurant like the one she's standing outside of. Now a place where the wealthy dine in luxury, unaware of the world just beyond their glass doors. Her clothes are threadbare, and her shoes are falling apart. But her heart is full of music. One evening, desperate for food, she gathers the courage to walk into the restaurant. The hostess eyes her with suspicion as Maria walks up to the grand piano in the corner of the room. She timidly asks the manager if she could play a piece for the guests in exchange for a meal. Her request is met with laughter and mocking glances from the patrons at nearby tables. The staff, not willing to entertain what they perceive as a nuisance, brush her off without a second thought. They see only a dirty girl, nothing more. Yet, as Maria's eyes meet the ivory keys, her hands begin to move. Maria's fingers begin to dance over the piano keys quietly at first, as if testing the waters. The guests who had once snickered now fall silent, taken aback by the beauty of her sound. Her hands, though calloused and bruised, produce melodies that are nothing short of divine. The rich, elegant crowd that had been focused on their fine dining and conversations now listens intently, unable to look away from the girl playing before them. They hadn't expected anything more than a poor, pitiful beggar, but what they were witnessing was a virtuoso performance. Maria's music fills the room, each note carrying the weight of her life's struggles and triumphs. She plays a piece she's known since childhood, a classical composition she's practiced over and over in the darkness of her shelter. She lets the music speak for her, for the years of pain, for the dreams she has, and for the talent that no one ever saw in her. As the crescendo builds, the room goes from awkward silence to palpable awe. Some patrons even stop chewing, forgetting their food altogether. The restaurant manager, who had dismissed her so harshly before, watches with wide eyes. He's never heard anything like it, not from any pianist who's ever played in his restaurant. This girl, with her ragged clothes and dirt-streaked face, is a force to be reckoned with. But as Maria reaches the final, soaring notes of her piece, she hesitates for a moment. She looks around the room, meeting the eyes of the people who had once mocked her. A silence falls upon the room, as if time itself has stopped. They are all staring at her, now realizing who they've been laughing at. Maria finishes her piece with a flourish, her hands frozen on the keys as she catches her breath. The applause is slow at first, hesitant, as though the guests are unsure of how to respond to the realization that they've misjudged her. But then, the applause grows louder, more genuine. One patron, a wealthy businessman who had laughed the hardest, stands up, his face flushed with shame. The manager, still in shock, walks up to Maria and offers her a meal on the house. But the damage is done. The patronage she once desired has been replaced with something far greater: respect. Yet, in the midst of this newfound attention, Maria simply asks for one thing: a warm meal. The room is filled with a mixture of guilt and admiration as Maria finishes her final note. The wealthy guests, their glasses half filled and their dinners forgotten, now realize the true weight of the moment. Maria, the girl they had so quickly dismissed, has not only shown them her skill, but has shown them how easily they can be blinded by their own privilege and prejudices. The businessman who had once laughed the loudest now sits in a deep silence, his shame written across his face. He had thought the girl was just another homeless person seeking charity, but now he sees her as a prodigy, someone he had wronged simply because of her appearance. As the applause dies down, Maria's stomach growls. She had played not for the applause, but for the warmth of a meal, the simplest of human needs that she had been denied for far too long. The manager finally steps forward, offering her a meal, but Maria declines. "No, thank you," she says softly. "I only wanted to play." Her words hang in the air, more profound than any amount of money or food could ever be. But as Maria stands up to leave, a quiet shift happens. The patrons, once so arrogant in their wealth, are no longer the same. They have seen the girl, heard her music, and they now understand the depth of their own privilege. The businessman who had mocked her earlier now follows her out of the restaurant, unsure of what to say. He watches as Maria walks down the street, her head held high despite everything life has thrown at her. The story ends not with a grand gesture, but with the quiet reflection of those who were witnesses to Maria's performance. The camera pans out, showing the opulence of the restaurant juxtaposed with the quiet, empty streets where Maria walks. She may not have been given a lavish meal, but what she received was far more valuable: the respect of those who once saw her as invisible. The story asks the audience to reflect on their own assumptions, on the ways in which they might judge others based on outward appearances. It's a reminder that talent, grace, and dignity are not defined by the clothes we wear or the wealth we possess. As Maria disappears into the night, the businessman from earlier watches her from the window. His eyes are filled with a sense of guilt and realization. In that moment, he understands that real value is not found in the brand of one's clothing or the luxury of one's surroundings, but in the character and potential that lie hidden in everyone, if only they are given a chance. The story ends with a powerful rhetorical question. How many times have we let our prejudices blind us to the true worth of others? Maria's music was a wake-up call, a reminder that we must never underestimate anyone, for we all have a story, a talent, and a potential that might surprise us, if we're willing to look beyond the surface. And as the credits roll, the audience is left to ponder. Who else have we passed by without ever knowing their true worth?